Chapter number 2, we are going to revise now. Chapter number 2, residential status and scope of total income. The total sections are ranging from section 5 to section 9. Okay. First, let us discuss what is scope of total income, because then only you will appreciate residential status. So I'm giving you some brief idea about residential status and scope of total income. I'm talking about section 5 first now. What is section 5? So section 5 talks about scope of total income. Don't write, I will share the notes with you. Scope of total income. Just try to understand and appreciate the law. Section 5, scope of total income. It says there are two types of income. I said, okay, what are those types? The first type is Indian income. Type 1 of income is Indian income. Type 2 is foreign income. Type 1 Indian income, type 2 foreign income. So what do you mean by foreign income? Foreign income is income which is not an Indian income. Foreign income means what? Income which is not an Indian income. Then what do you mean by Indian income, sir? For that you need to know 4 phrases. Let's go slow and try to understand phrase number 1. First phrase. Indian income means income which is accrues in India. Income which is accrues in India. Second, income which is received in India. Third, income which is deemed to be received in India. Fourth, income which is deemed to be accrued in India. Deeming fiction we will discuss when the time comes. But first try to understand these 2 words, accrued in India and received in India. What do you mean by accrued in India and received in India? Accrued in India means source of income is located in India. Income accrued in India means what? Source of income is located in India, and received in India means what, sir? The first place of receipt. First place of receipt is located in India. Okay. Here source is in India, and here first place of receipt is in India. Overall, this what is deemed to be received in India is given in section 7, and what is deemed to be accrued in India is given in section 9. I have not spoken anything about foreign income. Allow me to first speak about Indian income. Indian income you need to understand like this. If a land is the source, then crop is the income. If a land is the source, then crop is the income. If a tree is the source, then fruit is the income. Understand the cause and effect relationship. If a land is the source, then crop is the income. If a tree is the source, then fruit is the income. Similarly, if employment is the source, this is the source side. If employment is the source, then salary is the income. If employment is the source, then salary is the income. If a house property is the source, then rent is the income. If a business or profession is the source, then profit is the income. If bank account is the source, then interest is the income. If equity share is the source, then dividend is the income. If a capital asset is the source, then capital gain is the income. So you need to understand source and effect relationship. Sir, if source is located in India, please understand, if this source, geographically, these sources are located in India, then income which accrues from those sources are called as Indian income, are called as Indian income. Okay. And once I say this is an Indian income, what happens then? Sir, if I say all these incomes are Indian income, then what happens? So you need to understand the effect also. If once I say these incomes are Indian income, then what will happen, sir? Once this we decided that these incomes are Indian income, then it will be taxable in the hands of, it will be taxable in the hands of, it will be taxable in the hands of ordinary resident, non-ordinary resident, and even non-resident. Even non-resident pays tax on Indian income. Okay. So let me give you a few examples and you tell me whether it is taxable or not taxable. Okay. This is India. This is India. And your house property is located in India. House property is located in India. And a person is earning rent from this particular house property in Canada. Okay. A person, a owner who is earning income, he is located in Canada, but house property is located in India. You tell me this rental income is taxable in India or not? Is it an Indian income? Please tell me. Is it an Indian income? And if yes, then why? Is it an Indian income? Yes, sir, taxable in India. Now, taxable in India in the hands of whom? Is it taxable in the hands of ordinary resident? If this Canadian person is an ordinary resident, is it taxable in the hands of ordinary resident? Please reply. Yes, sir, it is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident. So what if it was NOR, non-ordinary resident? Still taxable in the hands of non-ordinary. So what if this person is a non-resident, even a foreigner, foreign resident, foreign citizen, foreign resident? Sir, is it taxable in the hands of non-resident? And answer is yes, sir. It is definitely taxable in the hands of non-resident because that person is earning income from Indian soil. Now, when IPL was going on, now it is cancelled, but when it was going on, many foreign players, obviously Indian players were playing in India. I'm not talking about them, but many foreign players, maybe Australian players, let's talk about. Many Australian players, they came to India and they were playing in India in Indian IPL on the Indian ground. And they were earning a lot of income. So what type of income? They were participating in games. They were participating in advertisement campaign. So whatever income they are earning, you tell me in IPL, whatever this whatever income this foreign player are earning, we call them NRFC. So what do you mean by NRFC? Non-resident foreign citizen. Is it taxable in India? Australian cricketers playing in Indian IPL, performing in Indian ads and earning income in India. Is it taxable in India?
Yes.
Yes, sir, because source of income is located in India. No doubt about it. Okay, no doubt about it. Now the second question to all of you is this. This is Sri Lanka. Okay, this is Sri Lanka. I don't know exact map of Sri Lanka. Please excuse me for that. This is Sri Lanka and the house property is located in Sri Lanka. Now, rent from this house property, is it taxable in India? House property is located in Sri Lanka or any foreign country for that matter. House property income earned from a property located in Sri Lanka, is it taxable in India? If your answer is yes, you have to justify why. If your answer is no, then it's okay. You can. That I don't know. You cannot ask me a counter question. I'm just whatever information I have given, with that information, you tell me whether it is taxable in India or not. And if it is taxable in India, then under what circumstances? You tell me the circumstances. Property is located in Sri Lanka. Is it taxable in India? I'm not talking about whether it is taxable in Sri Lanka because we are not learning Sri Lankan tax. We are learning Indian tax. Taxable in India. This is my question. Property which is located in Sri Lanka, is it taxable in India? If yes, then under what circumstances? You can unmute yourself and you can talk to me if you want, or you can chat. Don't give me answer on private. Please always mark everyone and then give the answer, because whenever you give the answer on private, my setting changes. Taxable. Yes, taxable if received in India. Okay. So I take the answer from Om and Deep and they are saying, sir, yes, taxable if it is received in India. Okay. And this is the right answer. Okay, this is the right answer. Though the source of income is located in the foreign country, if it is directly received in India, if this rent is directly received in India, it is taxable. There is one more circumstances. One student have already given me the answer about that circumstances. I want more people to reply. And the student who has given me that answer is a shameless student. How I get right answer from a shameless student? Sometimes I get surprising answers. No, you can't control house property from India. There is nothing to control. It's not a business. Don't bring control in the house property here. That is there in PGBP here. One more situation. Please tell me.
Deemed to be received in India.
No, not deemed to be received in India. Any other situation? I'm telling you, if it is received in Sri Lanka, actually received in Sri Lanka, still it is taxable in India. Under what circumstances? Rent from a house property located in Sri Lanka, received in Sri Lanka, in a Sri Lankan currency, still it is taxable in India. Under what circumstances? Only one situation. Think, very simple. Yes, it was very simple. Sir, a person who is earning income is an ordinary resident. A person who is earning income is an ordinary resident. Why? Because, sir, for ordinary resident, please understand, please make it very, very clear in your mind. For an ordinary resident, global income is taxable in India. Global income, this is the scope. For an ordinary resident, whole global income is taxable in India. For a non-resident, only Indian income is taxable in India. Is it clear? Only Indian income. Is it clear for two type of persons? For ordinary resident, because you are ordinary resident, you have to pay tax on Indian income as well as foreign income. As a non-resident, you have to pay tax only on Indian income. Is it clear? So we don't want tax from a Japanese on an income which is earned in Japan, China, Canada. We don't want. But if a Japanese comes to India and earns income in India, we want tax only on that income. Coca-Cola is having presence globally in almost all countries. We don't want Coca-Cola to pay tax on global income in India, but definitely we want tax on Indian division of a Coca-Cola. Okay. So this is how you need to remember. Ordinary resident or resident in India is liable to pay tax on a global income, whether they earn in India, whether they earn in foreign country, it is taxable. A non-resident is liable to pay tax only on Indian income. Am I clear with first two assessees and their scope? Because now the situation may become a little more complicated for you. Is it clear? Please reply. OR is liable. Yes. OR is liable to pay tax on global income. Don't make this kind of noises. I have to sleep at night in the same room. Okay, your noises surrounds here. this kind of noise. Yeah, thanks for scaring me more. Okay. Conjuring is happening. Ordinary resident and non-resident. Yeah, sir. Few students have replied. Very good. Anyhow, you will understand. I'm just taking a quick revision of scope of total income that you people have learned in intermediate. Okay. Next one. Sir, what about foreign income then? A foreign income means source outside India. Obviously, the source is located outside India. And receipt is also located outside India. Then only it is called as foreign income. Yeah. Because if source is located in India, it is Indian income. If it is received in India, it is Indian income. So it is to become a foreign income and to be called as a foreign income, definitely source and receipt is outside India. But when I talk about foreign income, for scope of total income purpose, we have divided foreign income into two types. What are those two types? For a PGBP head, for the PGBP head and for other heads. Okay, for other heads. For a PGBP head and for the other head, law is different. For the PGBP head, we have to check one more condition, whether business was controlled from India, whether business was controlled from India, or when it is profession. For profession, the wordings are profession set up in India. Both are the same thing, but first item is applicable only for a business, second item is applicable only for profession, meaning thereby this particular provision is not applicable for salary head, house property head, capital gain head, and other sources head. It is applicable only for PGBP head, because only business can be controlled from India and we can run the global business from India. Now imagine you become a cost accountant, and recently if you have heard the news that Indian cost accountants are globally recognized now in many countries, right? United Kingdom, Australia, they have signed the treaty with your institute, and now you can have a global career, not only Indian career. A company secretary, CA Institute was already having tie-up with many foreign countries. Now CMA Institute and CS Institute is also signing MOU. We called it Memorandum of Understanding with many countries. You are not only limited to India now, you are having presence, or you will be having signing powers in many countries, subject to certain more conditions that you have to comply with. But at least Indian CMAs are now recognized globally. Globally, let me tell you, when we talk about CMA, they always think about CMA USA. They don't think about CMA India. CMA is a course originated from USA, so always it is famous in USA, and there is CIMA London also. So there are two global CMA which are already famous, CMA USA and CIMA London, that is UK based course. Now CMA India is also going to make a very good presence in a global economy. So obviously when you are becoming CMA, and if you get a global opportunity, it's like you are a CMA India, and right now you are working in UK. Right now you are working in UK. You are doing some cost audit in UK. Why I have written US? You are doing some cost audit in UK. You are an Indian CMA and you are doing the cost audit in UK. Please understand, you are doing a cost audit in UK. You are an Indian CMA, okay? And you have received the income in UK. It was accrued in UK. It was accrued in London. It was received in London. Will it become taxable in India? Please tell me. Hello? You are an Indian CMA. I'm putting question on you. You travel to UK. You have done the audit in UK by staying in UK. You have earned income in UK dollars, okay, whatever currency they have, dollars or whatever foreign currency they have given you, pound or whatever foreign currency, okay, and it was received in foreign currency. Come on, please tell me. Accrued outside India, received outside India, but you have become CMA in India and your practice was set up in India. Please tell me. It's a foreign income. Is it taxable in your hand? Hello. Is it taxable in your hand? Answer is yes. Sir, under two circumstances it is taxable. Circumstance number one, OR. So why OR? If you are ordinary resident in India, beta, your global income is taxable. We have already concluded that. You don't have to think about the nature of income. If you are an ordinary resident, don't think whether it is Indian income or foreign income. OR, no, enough. That's it. Game over. Whole global income is taxable. Even if you earn on Moon, on Mars, still it is taxable in India. Please remember that global income is taxable. Universal income is taxable in India if you are an ordinary resident. But one more person will pay tax here, and that is non-ordinary resident. Here, I always think about business. Whenever I think about business, I always get a best example, that is Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata is not having businesses only in India. He is also having businesses outside India. And Ratan Tata, sometimes he stays in India, sometimes he stays outside India. So sometimes he might become non-ordinary resident in India. Even if Ratan Tata becomes non-ordinary resident in India, if he become OR, forget about it. Don't talk about it. Global income is taxable. But if Ratan Tata becomes non-ordinary resident, he has to pay tax on Indian income. Ratan Tata has to pay tax on Indian income, as well as business control from India. Ratan Tata has to pay tax on Indian income because it is located in India. Also on a business which is controlled from India. So please always remember two examples: business controlled from India and profession set up in India. If this type of foreign income you have earned, it is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident. It is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident and non-ordinary resident. Two people are liable to pay tax. Sir, what about other income? Other income is very simple example. Other income here, I'm just giving you examples. Okay. dividend from foreign company, or interest on foreign bonds, or rent income on foreign house property. This is other foreign income accrued outside India, received outside India, have nothing to do with India, no control, nothing, no, zero control from India. Is it taxable in India? Other foreign income. Please tell me, other foreign income. This is other foreign income. Is it taxable in India, and under which circumstances? Is it taxable in India? Other foreign income accrued outside India, received outside India, no connection with India. Is it taxable in India? Yes, sir, it is taxable in India, but only in the hands of OR. Only in the hands of OR. So what do you learn here? What do you learn in this particular chapter number 2, scope of total income? I'm ignoring the what you say, residential status provision. I'm just trying to jump on directly on scope of total income first. First, you need to understand scope, then we will come to the residential status. Then only you will appreciate why residential status is very, very important. See this. Section 5, scope of total income. There are two types of income: type A, Indian income; type 2, foreign income. Okay. Type A, income accrued in India, income received in India, income deemed to be received in India, income deemed to be accrued in India. Okay. Sir, what do you mean by income accrued in India? A source of income is located in India. So what do you mean by received in India? The source of income is located outside India, but the first place of receipt is located in India. First place of receipt is located in India. Sir, can you give the example? Yes, I can give you many examples. You tell me, if you are working in Dubai. Okay, if this is Dubai, I don't know whether Dubai is located again, but imagine this is Dubai, this is UAE. You are working in Dubai and you have come for Diwali celebration to India, or due to lockdown you have come to India, and your employer who is located in Dubai, your employment is located in Dubai, your employer is located in Dubai, because right now you are in India, he has credited your Indian bank account. Okay, this is your Indian bank. He has transferred money directly to Indian bank account. I'm asking you whether this salary is taxable in India. Salary which was accrued outside India, employment is located outside India, but received directly in India. Received directly in India. Is it taxable in your hand? Yes, sir. This is taxable for whom? Salary directly received is taxable for whom? So this is also taxable for ordinary resident. This is also taxable for non-ordinary resident. And this is also taxable for non-resident. So why is it taxable for all? Because beta, it has become Indian income now, and Indian income is taxable for all the assessors. Power gone. Wi-Fi. Hello guys, you are able to hear me? The power has gone, but I guess you can hear me. Am I audible? छोटा वैक्यूम किधर है? Guys, I will just off my video. No, not horror lecture. Please excuse me. I'll off my video. I'll keep teaching you for another 8 minutes. I'll off my video. Okay. So this is taxable. So then what was the solution in this case? Come on, tell me. What was the solution? If you receive directly in India, it is taxable. Then what was the solution? What you should have done, I'll give you the solution, because for typing it will take a lot of time. The solution was, if you have earned income in Dubai, you should have asked your Dubai employer to credit your Dubai bank account. Please understand, you should have asked your Dubai employer to credit your Dubai bank account, and from Dubai bank account you should have transferred money to India, then it would have not be considered as income received in India, then it would have been considered as income remitted to India. And remittance is not taxable. Please understand this word, remittance in India is not taxable. I'll show you that note also. Here, you can see this. Rule number 1, if this is source rule of taxation, if source of income is located in India, okay, if source of income is located in India, then such income will be called as Indian income, whether it is received in India or outside India. This is also very important, whether it is received in India or outside India. This is very, very important. If source is located in India, whether you receive it here or whether you receive outside India, or what is your residential status, doesn't make any difference. And this is the source and effect relationship that you should know. Cause and effect relationship. If employment is the source, then salary is the income. If a house property is the source, then rent is the income. If a business is the source, then profit is the income. If a capital asset is the source, then capital gain is the income. If a debenture is the source, then interest is the income. If equity is the source, then dividend is the income. Bank account is the source, then interest is the income. If all these sources are located in India, please understand, if all these sources are located in India, then it is Indian income, otherwise it is foreign income. Sir, then what do you mean by receipt rule? If income is directly received in India, directly means first place. If income is directly received in India, then it will be considered the Indian income, even if the source of income is located outside India. The most important sentence is here. This has also been asked in exam. Foreign remittances. Imagine you are working in a foreign country, you are earning in salary in a foreign country, but your parents are staying in India and you are transferring 10,000 rupees every month to their account or 20,000 rupees every month to their account. Is it taxable in the hands of your parent? Come on, please tell me. If you are working in Dubai or any foreign country and you are transferring money for your parents for their daily expenses, will it be taxable in the hands of your parents? You have already received income in Dubai, you are just transferring money to your mother account or father's account. No, sir, that's not an income earned. This is just the money transfer from one account to another account. That's what is known as foreign remittances, which is not taxable in India. Then the third rule is residence rule, which is a horrible rule. If you become a resident and ordinary resident in India, then Indian as well as foreign income becomes taxable in India. Therefore, what summary we have created for Indian income? Income accrued in India, income received in India. Obviously, this is an Indian income, taxable to all. Taxable to all means, sir, it is taxable to OR, NOR and NR. Sir, what about income accrued in India and received outside India? Accrued in India, received outside India, still Indian income because source is located in India. This is also taxable to OR, NOR and NR. So what about income accrued outside India? Very good. Income accrued outside India, but directly received in India. So if you receive directly income in India, it also becomes Indian income. And this is also taxable to OR, NOR and NR. Then sir, what about finally income accrued outside India and received outside India? This is definitely foreign income. This is also taxable only to that person who becomes resident in India, ordinary resident. So what you should learn here, Indian income, which is accrued in India, received in India, income deemed to be received in India and deemed to be accrued in India is a taxable to OR, NOR and NR. All three category of person are going to pay tax here. Okay, this is taxable for all three. Taxable to all three. Okay. Am I clear with the first category? Please tell me. Are you clear with the Indian income? That has to be very much clear. It is taxable to OR, NOR and NR. Indian income, no, everybody has to pay tax. Sir, foreign income, but business controlled from India or profession set up in India, this is taxable for OR and NOR. In fact, NOR category is created only to tax this PGBP income. Many Indians are running foreign businesses. Which are controlled from India. And we wanted to take that particular tax. But one thing is for very much sure, you will never see a foreigner is paying tax on foreign income. A non-resident is paying tax on foreign income. That is not possible. So what about other foreign income with whom India doesn't have any control, doesn't have any relation? That is also taxable, but only in the hands of ordinary resident, not in the hands of non-ordinary resident and non-resident. Sir, exempt income, agriculture income, is it taxable? No, it is not taxable for OR, NOR and NR. Sir, what about capital receipt? Somebody has taken the loan or issued the share capital. It is not taxable in the hands of OR, NOR and NR. So then you will get the gross total income, and from gross total income you have to provide chapter 6A deduction 80C to 80U. That will be the total income, and this total income is taxable in India. That's the scope of total income. Okay, so this is how you should understand the scope of total income. Basics. Obviously, I have not gone into detail because our focus is to teach you a residential status. Just wanted to touch upon scope of total income. Just revise it before that. Okay. So I hope you are clear about it. If you are having any query, I will just log out and log in again. We can discuss about the queries in the second round. So this is scope of total income basics for you. Resident and ordinary resident is liable to pay tax on global income subject to double taxation avoidance agreement relief. We will discuss what is DTAA. That is the whole chapter for us. NR will pay tax only on Indian income. Past untaxed profit brought to India in the previous year is not taxable. If you are having business in Dubai, year one you have done the business in Dubai, not taxable in India. Year two you did a business in Dubai. Year one business in Dubai, not taxable in India. Year two business in Dubai, not taxable in India. Year three business in Dubai, not taxable in India. Now the COVID came, your business got shut down from Dubai. You transferred all the properties, all the business asset from Dubai, and you are bringing that money to India. It is not taxable in India because in past it was not taxable. Right now you are just bringing that money to India. It won't become taxable in year 4. Please understand, if you are bringing any past earned money into India, it is not taxable. Certain capital receipts are not taxable, like gift received from relative, gift on marriage, gift up to 50,000 rupees, that you might be knowing, it is not taxable. Note number 5 we will do in the next lecture because I have only less than 1 minute left. Again, log out will happen. Please log in again at 8:30. Please log in at 8:30. After 5 minutes, log in at 8:30. Please.